Well, yes, Close to the Edge. The deluxe edition is finally here. But how good is it? Let's get into it, shall we? This is a seismic release in terms of these new Yes Deluxe sets, which I've been thoroughly enjoying, I must admit. And they look fabulous on my shelf, which is now groaning under the collective weight of Yesness. This will be released on March the 7th, and there is a purchasing link just below this video, so you can go and check it out. If you're new to this channel, please do click like, subscribe, and check that notification bell. Do all that stuff, and check some of the links below this video for ways to support the sterling work than a classic album review. Always much appreciated. First of all, I'm going to review the mixes and the content of this set, and then we're going to unbox it and look at it together. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? So what we do get in this set is a remastering of the original set, the original recordings. I must admit, this certainly sounds better than the first CD I bought, which was way back in 1987, I think. There's some deep, resonant textures, which I think are more appreciated with this mix, as Squire's bass throbs beneath the delightful treble of Howe's guitar and the percussive flourishes of Bill Bruford. It does sound to me slightly fuller and a little bit brighter than that original CD version I had. And this collection of course boasts liner notes by Sid Schwartz of Jazz and Coffee as he dives into the process and the story of this album. And his writing certainly reflects how important this album. I think he calls it the ultimate Yes album, and it's hard to disagree with him really. And also Steve Howe states, Close to the Edge is Yes's most miraculous album. It has our first 20-minute epic, the template for many large-scale tracks that followed, accompanied by two 10-minute tracks, similarly recorded with the highest musical and technical integrity. Recording Fragile was an experience that enabled us to make Close to the Edge Yes's career-defining album. Also in this set, there boasts a new Steven Wilson mix. Now, I wondered whether or not this was just the 2013 mix carried over. It doesn't say on the set that it's previously unreleased, but it does make it clear that it's the 2025 mix. What befuddles me about that is I don't really understand why there is a 2025 Steven Wilson mix when he remixed the album in 2013. So anyway, that aside, I still thoroughly enjoyed what he's done with this album. The Steven Wilson mix sounds a little bit more vibrant, I think, and all the fiddly bits are more pronounced at the start. Feels more in your face. It's almost as if you're in the same room as the band actually playing this. I think the original mix had a slightly murkier, floatier feel to it, which certainly leans into that air of esoteric mystery that this band exudes. I think with this Steven Wilson mix, you get the impression all these individual parts coming together to form a whole, rather than enjoying the overall impression of this music as a whole, if that makes sense. I must admit I much prefer the original mix remastered in this set rather than the Steven Wilson mix. Overall, the Steven Wilson mix sounds a little bit starker, I think, and it feels as if Anderson's voice has been lifted, brought forward a bit. So on disc 1 we get the original album remastered, and disc 2 is the Steven Wilson 2025 remixes and instrumentals. You get a lot of all the instrumental stuff on here as well, which is absolutely fascinating to listen to. Then the Rarities is we get America single version, Total Mass Retained single version, and You and I promo radio edit, Siberia run through, studio run through, Close to the Edge rough mix, and You and I alternative version, America dry mix, all this stuff that's been released before on previous editions of this album. We do get 3 pieces in the Rarities section which have not been released before, which are absolutely fascinating to hear. I'm certainly glad they're on here. I certainly enjoyed them. That is the Siberian Cat True Steven Wilson edit, the Chord of Life Steven Wilson edit, and Total Mass Retained, which is also the Steven Wilson edit. In terms of the live gig, live at the Rainbow, I think it was the 16th of December 1972. It's certainly been cleaned up an awful lot compared to the original bootleg version that I used to own. It's not exactly pristine, but it's certainly some of the best live stuff that's been released so far with these Yes reissues. It's certainly a live recording that's not just a curiosity. I think it's something you would revisit. It starts off with Siberian Cat True, and it feels like Chris Squire's bass is a little bit low in the mix. It's far too trebly, the focus on Steve Howe's guitar, I think. It's hard to decide really whether this is an excellent audience recording, or whether it's a very average desk recording. Maybe you Yes archivists out there can fill me in on that. But it's a wonderful recording. It's a recording that I will return to and will enjoy and will continue to enjoy. The highlights of the Rainbow gig for me were Heart of the Sunrise. It's absolutely incredible, and You and I love Rick Wakeman's solo bits on here, especially as he launches into Jingle Bells, and of course Starship Trooper. I always love hearing live renditions of Starship Trooper. So there we are. So this is a wonderful set which will sit nicely against the other Deluxe sets that I have. Let's take a look at it, shall we? So like the other ones, it faithfully reproduces the artwork. It's in a hard-bound book type affair with all the tracks and things listed on the back. That's the spine. And that opens up like this. There's the sticker, which was on the front. I always keep that sort of stuff. Oops, sorry, no reflection. There we go. And that opens up beautifully like this, very much in keeping with the previous sets. I like the fact that discs are held in with these little sort of rubbery buttons, which is quite nice really, as opposed to these hard sort of plastic teeth, which do have a tendency to break. The only criticism I do level at is these discs are stored, they're just cut into the actual packaging. You just know that getting these out, eventually these are going to fray and tear possibly. That's the original album CD. Track listing on the back. And the disc. Very much a reproduction of the Atlantic label. And this is the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray contains the 2025 Steve Wilson mix, Atmos mix. Steve Wilson 5.1 mix, DTS HDMA. I have no idea what that means. The 2025 Stephen Wilson stereo remix, the Stephen Wilson instrumental mix, and the 2025 stereo remaster. That's the Blu-ray, comes in a nice little protective sleeve. I like this attention to detail. That's the Blu-ray. Cool. And there's disc 2, which is the Stephen Wilson remixes and instrumentals. I'll show you all the discs, but they're pretty much the same. Disc 3 is the Close to the Edge Rarities. And disc 4 and 5 is Live at the Rainbow. That's disc 5. Without the discs in, the artwork looks like this. And the first part forms an envelope which contains the vinyl and the booklet. So let's take a look at that. That's the booklet, which contains the wonderful aforementioned essay. So it's the original there, all the lyrics printed out. And that's the exclusively for this edition. Stephen Wilson 2025 remixes, original album, Rarities, Live at the Rainbow, 16th of December, Blu-ray and LP of the original album remastered. Oops, then he dropped it there. And that's the booklet, and the vinyl, of course. And the vinyl comes in a nice black polyline sleeve, which we like. There we are. So there you are, that's the new Yes Deluxe edition, which looks fabulous on the shelf with the other ones, I must admit. So let me know, what do you think? Do you think this is value for money? Do you think you'll be buying it? Let me know in the comments below, I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, thank you for your time. I'll leave you with my closing salvo, which is, as you know, hope you're well, staying safe, and of course that you keep listening.